Okay, so we're doing a really great simple tomato chutney, and it's based on the flavors of sort of India going into Nepal and Himalayas. So it's got fenugreek in it, which is a really interesting, powerful spice. It's a component usually in curries. It's also got cumin and mustard seed in it. And so we're just going to coarsely chop all these tomatoes. Then we're going to slice through our onions, notching them like this 3 times, and then notching down, and that'll give us a nice simple dice. We're going to start off with our onions and sweat those down in olive oil. I've got garlic, fresh ginger, and jalapenos. When we've got them, we just want to be careful. And we get the seed structure out and all the ribbing of the seed structure. That'll reduce the heat intensity a little bit. But the reason we're putting them in there is to get a little kick. So we don't want to reduce all of that. So then I'm just mincing them down. Not mincing them too much. I love the flavor of fresh chili like this, and I want it to shine through, and I'm not really scared of it. And we're going to bring this all over here to the stove. So what we've got here are the onions, the tomatoes. I've got my spices already toasted off and then ground up. So this is just fenugreek and cumin and mustard seed. I've got garlic, fresh ginger, and the jalapenos, which you can use as much or as little of the jalapenos as you want. I'm going to get a fair bit of olive oil going here. And then we're going to add the onions when we come up to temperature. Never add things before the oil is hot. You don't want it to be smoking hot, but you want that nice sizzle to occur. Other than that, you're just going to be poaching in sort of cold oil. As is sort of traditional in cooking of this part of the world, we're really trying to sizzle down the spices with the garlic and all your aromatics, so your ginger and your chilies. And then we're going to add the tomatoes. Tomatoes are going to exude a fair bit of liquid, and that's going to slowly sort of stew them into the chutney. Going to get a little more translucency on these onions. I'm really cooking at high heat in this point, and that's because I really want those onions to cook pretty quickly. Okay, we're going to add our garlic and our ginger. In total, we're adding about 2 teaspoons of our spice mixture. And then we're adding some of our fresh chilies. Now you can add as much or as little as you want of this, depending on how much heat you want. Obviously, the longer the jalapenos cook, the more their flavor is really going to come out. We're just going to cook this down a little while longer. Just the smells of that are they're really, really, really beautiful and very different compared to most North American kitchens. It's just the fenugreek is just so fresh, and the tomatoes and fenugreek go so well together. Ginger too, awesome. Okay, then we're gonna add our tomatoes, and we're gonna stir those in, and we're just really gonna cook this for a while. And we'll season with salt towards the end. At this point in time, we're going to reduce down our heat to about medium and cook that till just really it's cooked down. All the liquid's been exuded from the tomatoes, not all of it, but all the wateriness has been exuded, and then that wateriness has cooked back into it, like thickening a tomato sauce towards the end. So that's really the point we're at. We'll stick that off to the back. So the chutney is starting to thicken out a fair bit. You can smell that beautiful spice going on in it. I would say that needs to cook for another about 15 to 20 minutes on low. And that chutney, once finished, is awesome as a building block with things like sliced roast beef as a sandwich, unlike toasted ciabatta. It is just really ultra versatile condiment. I really like finishing sauces and things like that with fresh herbage. This mess of greens right over here is fresh mint and cilantro and more fresh mint hiding underneath the cilantro and scallion. So this is going into the chutney just to finish it. So I'm just going to coarsely chop all this and have it just sort of melt down in there and be really nice herbaceous quality in the finish. Okay, I'm just adding the cilantro, the scallion, and the French mint. I'm going to taste that for seasoning and adjust. You can always add a little bit of lemon. You can add a little bit of lemon zest. Anything that you want to bounce in your palate a little bit more, just to give that little bit of bounce, that little acid tinge to it. It could be orange zest, it could be whatever you want.